don't know when I've heard of you initially through Christian hip hop stuff.
Probably.
You're probably now one of the foremost engagers in the Hebrew Israelite world. Why are you such a glutton for punishment with those guys, man? Those dudes are really aggressive. And we were hanging out in Phoenix, and it was like, I just wanted to see you. I was like, hey, man, like, I'm in Phoenix. You're like, want to go out and talk to the Hebrew? No, vocab. I have zero desire to go talk to the Hebrew Israelites. What is, like, give me your understanding for your heart on why you have a burden for these folks. And is it for them, or is it for the people that watch? Like unpack some of that for me.
Well, it doesn't start with watching for me. It starts when I found out a number of years ago, Ruslan, they're literally going into the middle of services at churches, interrupting the service, saying, "You're Israelites, here's why, da 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 da." And if you don't agree, then they curse them out and leave. So I found out this was happening, and so I looked into it, but I was like, I don't know if I'll ever see these guys. So the way I heard about it is an old friend from our old neighborhood says these guys are coming around. Sometimes they'll try to deny it, but they still do a version of this where they go on the outside of churches. You don't see them as often going directly into the service. But that tactic really bothered me. I care about the church. I care about God's people. I'm not trying to sound all sanctimonious, but that kind of intrusion, because I'm all for dialogue.
You're talking about full-on disruption of services.
Going into and specifically in Columbus, where I'm from.
Okay.
And they had done that in a number of other places. And so
that's kind of wild. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know they did that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
You know, you make those deals with God. Lord, I'll do this till someone else comes along or the problem goes away. It's kind of like that type of that. This is you know what I mean? This is the prayer discussion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good.
Well, the problem got a lot worse. Praise God, more people came along, but the problem has grown exponentially. In fact, according to the numbers that I've seen, this is the fastest growing homegrown religion in America. Because Islam is growing primarily by getting here from other countries.
The Bless God Black Friday sale is here. We have 25.
Well, that's scripture vocab. But anyway, I want to say shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in the gospel from Rob, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is a quick lesson through the Spirit. Lord's will be edifying. This is from the Salaki. I'm actually eating something, but this is from the brother. The brother name is Karata Zabah. I believe the elder out of the Baltimore, Maryland camp, if I'm not mistaken. And basically, it says, vocab says the Israelite awakening is a big problem. And it's a problem to them because they're afraid. Okay, because they understand, and you know what? It was a quote by Sir Isaac Newton that I came across, and basically it was stating that towards the end of time, and I actually have the quote, but I don't want to take away from the video. But basically it says, matter of fact, we can just pull it up on Google and see if we can find it, and this is one reason why they're running afraid. All right, let's see here, sir. Newton quote on end time and prophecy. See what he says, hopefully. Yup, bingo. It says, Sir Isaac Newton had a few quotes about the end times and prophets, including it says, about the end time, a body of men will be raised up who will turn their attention to the prophecies. So, hey, was he on to something? Was Sir Isaac Newton, did the Lord give him a revelation of us popping up? Because the scriptures say that the Lord have raised up prophets in Babylon. And also the scriptures say that we will be as a spectacle to them that behold us, roughly paraphrasing it. So we are a spectacle into the world. And this is why when, we're out teaching and preaching, people see us on the highways and hedges, sometimes they honk their horn, whether it's in disarray or discontent, or sometimes, they are in favor of what we're saying, our message. But overall, he was on point. It says, A body of men will be raised up who will turn their attention to prophecies and insist upon their literal interpretation in the midst of much clamor and opposition. Does it sound like the Israelites? Because it's quite known the fact that the Lord is going to raise up prophets in the end time, but it's kind of when I notice, because the average person doesn't study the scriptures and they don't understand historical events. Okay, people are not familiar that with time, that when the Lord was getting ready to collapse kingdoms, that he was getting ready to set up the men of the Lord. Okay, because think about it, it's just like today, during the time of Acts and during the time of Yahushua, you had the disciples, the 12, and then you had other men that followed Yahushua and the disciples had disciples. And it's the same thing today with all the Israelites here, okay, whether it be different camps or not. But the point about it is that people was not anticipating it because their faith and belief have gotten away from biblical eschatology, prophecy. But it's a common fact that every time the Lord was getting ready to destroy a kingdom or an empire, he raises up men to foretell the downfall. So how is any today different? Okay, and when you study the scriptures, it tells us that that Ezekiel 37, that we should be a great army, and vocab is getting whiff of the prophecies fulfilling themselves or coming to pass through Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and he's basically afraid. So it's his top mission or top goal to slander any and every Israelite camp that he can possibly come across, with the first foremost being a great millstone. All right. He don't like us because we don't really give him the time of day, and we have orders to call the cops on his ass if he comes up to the camp. Okay, but this is just basically Esau. He's afraid. And vocab, he's sent. Okay, like we've said before. I've said it. Other brothers have said it. I said this dude is set up, man. Okay, he's an agent. And not only that, he's a fucking small hat. So that's the reason why he's coming up trying to accuse us of these things that's unfavorable to public, because he made a mention about, oh, well, you know, they was cursed going up into churches and cursing out church members and all that other stuff. Well, look, dude, I haven't known, well, GMS, I'm speaking for us. I'm not speaking for other Israelite camps. We don't know or care what they do. Okay, but from what I've seen, Great Millstone, we don't fucking blitz churches, man. Okay, we don't go up to churches and going inside churches and cursing out the preacher and, you know, saying, oh, you motherfuckers, we don't do that, okay? I never known a brother in GMS to do that, you know? So you can get that out of your mouth. I don't know camps or Israelites of One West, so to speak, or of GMS that's actually going up and blitzing churches. And even so, if that was the case, who are you to come to the beck and call of that? Who are you? Who sent you? All right, but basically he's getting afraid, just like all these preachers out here, these demons. They all getting afraid. All right, but it says by this rashness they have not only exposed themselves but brought the prophecy also into contempt. And that's not talking about as in us, but these are just quotes he made. All right. But the first one was at about the end times of the end, a body of men would be raised up who would turn their attention to the prophecies and insist upon their literal interpretation. Yeah, because scriptures say that no scriptures of any private interpretation. But it says, but their literal interpretation in the midst of much clamor and opposition. And this is why you have a great apostasy going on. And this is why you have men that's trying to come up and debunk our movement, because this is the time of much clamor and opposition. Okay, this is the same thing that the disciples, soon to be called apostles, dealt with. They dealt with persecution, and this is just the start of it. Okay, eventually the persecution is going to get physical, and they're going to have men like this to lead the accusing factors. So, you know, to point out certain, oh yeah, they do this, they do that, without any type of proof or evidence that we've done anything. But the fact about the authorities, they feel threatened because we're speaking the truth. Okay. So also he made another comment about this is the fastest homegrown religion in house, so to speak, you know, because, you know, I think he's done the numbers and it estimated that like over 1 million something people identified with being a Hebrew Israelite. Well, let's see what the scriptures say about that. All right. Because the scriptures clearly tells us that we were going to remember ourselves, and majority of the Israelites are over here in the Western Hemisphere. Okay, a great bulk of Israelites came to Babylon. All right. So this is the book of Baruch, Babylon. This is the book of Baruch 2. And I'm going to start at verses 26, and it says, "And the house which was called by thy name hast thou laid waste, as it is to be seen this day, for the wickedness of the house of Israel and the house of Judah." So a direct result of our people being in a chaotic mindset at the end is a result of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai taking his blessings in his hand off us and leading us to spoil to the heathen. Okay, this is why you have Jakes that's out here just living raunchy, man. So-called black woman out here just straight degenerates. The children are all jacked up, man. Okay, Jake's situations are all just hell on earth, man. Okay, this is basically a forsaken. We were forsaken of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai for a short period of time, but now we have our understanding and heritage back, and this is what's pissing off these other nations, and mainly you Edomites, mainly vocab. Okay, because he's read the scriptures to some degree, and I'm sure he's come to some type of semblance of understanding that, damn, these are the children of Israel. Okay, because I mean, they're going out on the streets, they're speaking the word. You know, they can get aggressive at times, and when I say aggressive, meaning, you know, as far as the street teaching, when sometimes we rebuke, you know, this soft, slow-belly world would consider that too manly aggression, but it's really austerity and masculinity, and that's all it really is. You know, also Ezekiel 37 chapter about the great army standing upon thy feet that had the spirit of life in them. That's us. You know, Revelation 11. And I'm pretty sure something has to click in his feeble mind that, damn, these guys may be the truth. So he's sent by his superiors to come and disrupt what we do, but he's going to fail because he's not of the Most High, all right? And the Lord said that the gates of hell will not prevail against thee. So he can forget about it. All his futile attempts to try to debunk us and get us roped up is just going to fall upon his own head. He's just going to fall on his own sword to the point that the Most High is going to destroy him openly, all right? And don't be surprised, man, when you start seeing a lot of people get jacked up next year. A lot of these scoffers and scorners, a lot of them are getting ready to just be straight up destroyed, all right? But it says, "Our Lord, O Lord, our power, thou hast dealt with us after all thy goodness and according to all the great mercy of thine, as thou spakest by the servant Moses in the day when thou didst command him to write the law before the children of Israel, saying, if you will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude should be turned into a small number among the nations, whither I will scatter them." And this has happened when we would scatter them on the Babylonians, okay, the Persians, the Medes, the Greeks, and mainly the Romans. And now we're scattered into all the nations of the planet Earth. And it says, "For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves." Okay, and this is why he said that this is the fastest homegrown religion, because Jake can identify with it, because there's a spirit that's being put in the earth of remembrance. Okay, like it tells us, I believe in Peter's, that the Most High will stir up our pure minds by the way of what? Remembrance. Okay, this is why that is so easy for Jake to grasp onto this knowledge and excel with it, because this is who we are. Okay, see, you want to keep us back in that African American spirit, that so-called black Christian spirit. That ain't done nothing for Jake, man, but kept us on the plantation and ultimately stopped the Lord from dealing with us. And he understands that, because when you go into the book of Judith, it tells you if you want to keep these people in sin and against their power, have them to rebel against the Most High. And this is what he's doing by trying to force that bullshit-ass Christianity back down Jake's throat. You see, Jake is done with that. Jake is not dealing with that no more. That shit is old news. And anybody that's still in them damn churches is because the Spirit of the Lord is not dealing with them at all. All right? And it says, "And they should know that I am the Lord, their power." Wait a minute. That's a personal pronoun, there. This is talking about the Israelites. We just read up here in verses 26, Israel and Judah. What time have Israel ever been in captivity and they didn't know who they were outside of this last captivity that we're in? Huh? That's a question that you still haven't answered. And it says here, "And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name, and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, for they should remember the ways of their fathers, which sinned before Yahweh Bashim Yahushai." And this is why you have a mass awakening. This is why you have us out there teaching the word. Okay, our people are coming into remembrance as to who we were and who we are. And that's why these devils are shook, man. They can't deal with it. Okay, like, what's this guy's name? Was it Dr. Michael Brown or some shit? I think he got caught up in like some type of alleged sex scandal. Somebody came forth on his monkey ass But yet all these Christians out here supposed to be holier than thou and believing in the Lord and Jesus. And I want to say my Christian brothers, but yet all you got some wicked works that's been done in the dark, man. All right. That's just straight wickedness. Next precept. This is the book of Ezekiel 11. And I'm going to start at verses 16. And this is in the New Living Testament. It says, therefore, tell the exiles. Now, look up the word exile, right? All right. Here we go. Salakia. Ezekiel 11 and 16. Let me find here. Among the heathen. Matter of fact, let's do it this way. Let's do this real quick. Look up the definition of exile. And we all know what it means, but just for edification's sake. Exile definition. Okay, it says the state of being barred from one's native country, typically or politically punitive reasons. Okay, in this case, we got kicked out because we disobeyed the Most High. All right. It says expel and bar someone from the native country, typically for political or punitive reasons, a corrupt dictator, blase, blase. Okay, so it means to be expelled out, to be kicked out. Like we read in Baruch, we were kicked out of the land. But anyway, Ezekiel 11 and 16, it says, therefore tell all exiles that is what the sovereign Lord says. Although I have scattered you in the countries of the world, I will be a sanctuary to you during the time of exile. Okay, so this goes back into what Vocal was saying when he mentioned about how this is the fastest growing religion and how it bothered him, how he had to move on this with the spirit, whatever the bullshit he mentioned. But the Lord said here he was going to be an exile. I mean, he was going to be a small sanctuary to us, man. So the camps you see, the ministries you see, those are sanctuaries of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, being led through his men. So when you go to a particular camp, a GMS camp, you know, those are small sanctuaries, man. Those are the true houses of the Most High. That's where you go and get the truth. Okay, he's a sanctuary unto us. As I, the sovereign Lord, will gather you back from all the nations where you have been scattered, and I will give you the land of Israel once again. And we're in the process of this happening. Okay, but notice it says, and to the countries that have scattered thee. I didn't say country, but countries, predominantly here in the West. Okay, because the North America, whether it be North, Central, or South America, they're still countries, plural, even though they are called the Americas. Okay, the Americas is plural. Okay, and then you have Asia, which is Euro, they call Euro-Asia, which is Asia. You have Africa. Okay, you have parts of Asia, which you have you have Central, South, and Eastern Asia. Okay, Western Asia, which they broke up and called it Europe. Then you have Ireland, then you have the UK. You have Israelites all over, man. You know, but overall, this prophecy is concerning us. And these devils are running afraid because they understand now. They don't understand, but they're seeing awakening and they know that this is the end of their demise. All right. So this is the book of Revelation 11. And I'm going to start at verses 11 and I'm going to start at verses 11. It says, but after 3.5 days, the Most High breathed it to them. It says the Most High breathed life into them, which is the spirit. Okay, and that 3.5 days goes into that 350-year period. And it says, and they stood up and terror struck all who were staring at them. Okay, this is the time we in now. And this is why the scriptures say, once again, we are as a spectacle unto them that sees us, because they're like, what the fuck? You know, and it's one thing enough if you have a group of guys that pop up in one city, and then they pop up in another city, then they pop up in another city, then they pop up down south, then they pop up on the East Coast, then the West Coast, then the Mid-East, then they pop up in different countries. It's like, okay, something is really going on here. Okay, and I remember it was a show that came out maybe back in 2018, 2019, about a story regarding who they call Christ. You know, what it was about Peter and John, and I believe John was a so-called Negro in that movie. But basically, they was like, this Jesus cult is rising faster than what we can contain. Because the same thing happened during the time of the Roman Empire when we was under tributary by the Romans, man. Okay, Jake was rising up in record numbers too, because basically this is the whole book of Acts playing out again, man. So miracles are getting ready to happen, you know, spiritual power, all types of things. And once we get that spiritual power, that's when this devil is going to pop his top. And I have strong belief that the Most High is going to keep vocab around just to prove the point that we are the true Israelites, because it wouldn't be justice to let him get destroyed tomorrow, and yet he dies with that pride in his heart that, oh, he's debunked us, which he didn't. Okay, he's going to witness the miracles. He's going to witness the men of the Lord doing things with their minds. Okay, he's going to witness possibly the chariots, you know, which I'm sure he's seen chariots. I mean, they all over the news now. It's like you can't deny them. And the Lord is moving on his fucking place, man. But he's going to witness the utmost miracles of the men of the Lord. And hey, Yahweh Shai may even grant him the ability to live to see the second coming of Yahweh Shai. And the Most High may just put his ass to death, man. Okay, well, the Lord can just throw him head first in slavery. I won't be surprised if a low level, I mean, even though vocab, he's very low level, but hey, the Lord can save him for captivity, man, on the first go round. Because who's to say? We don't know how juiced in vocab really is. He literally can be one of the lower level Rothschilds. We really don't know. I mean, they hide themselves, and I'm not saying that's definitive, but you just never know who people is, man. Okay, he literally can be a higher up elite on a low level, just sent out to do a task, man. Okay, just like us. Hey, we're high angels that was brought down to a low level to do the work, man. So hey, it could be the same thing with this fucking devil. He can be literally a Rockefeller. We don't know nothing about it. Okay, because they hid their identities throughout the centuries. Because what we found out was that Rothschild name was Red Shield, and before that it was Bowser, which means peasant. And find out that the Rockefellers is nothing more but the equivalent to the Rothschilds. They're just the American dynasty of the Rothschilds. Okay, because Rockefeller goes back to Red Shield, which goes back into Rothschild, which means the same thing. Red man is devil. So hey, vocab can have some serious. He may be juiced in, man. You know, even though he's low level, but still, just never know, right? But it says, then a loud voice came from heaven and called to the two prophets and says, come up here. And they rose to heaven in a cloud as their enemies watched. And that same time, there was a terrible earthquake that destroyed a tenth of the city, and 7,000 people died in that earthquake, and everyone else was terrified and gave glory to the Most High of heaven. And this is talking about the deliverance. Once we're delivered out of Babylon the Great, okay, the 10th part of the city is Babylon. It says 7,000 people, which just means a complete number of people. Okay, because literally you have hundreds of millions of people here in America. Like they say, you have 350 million people. That's possibly documented, but hey, we can easily have a 500 million here. Because remember, homeless people, some people go off the grid, some people are not documented. Then you have the mass immigration of illegal aliens in here. So we easily got over 450 million people, easily. Okay, and that's probably more than, that's a low number. You see, so yeah, this devil, man, he's afraid. He's running afraid. All right, one last precept and I end it. This is the book of 2nd Esdras 6, and I'm gonna start at verses. Let's start at verses 18, and it says, "And it said, Behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and visit them that dwell upon the earth, and how through various judgments, through sightings, all right, through particular fearful consolations, chariot sightings, man, and clement weather, and will begin to make inquisition of them." It says, "What they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Zion should be fulfilled, and when the world that should begin to be vanished away should be finished, then I will show these tokens, and then the book should be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together." Okay, and hey, everybody sees these videos. Okay, everybody watches these videos. People are watching, brothers, man. Okay, don't think that people ain't watching. People are watching. Hey, the elites are getting afraid. This is why they send the likes to vocab, man, because hey, they need somebody to try to put a damper on prophecy, but it's impossible. Okay, Isaiah 55:10 proves that. But I'm going to end it giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Lord's will you edify. To the next lesson. Shalom.